I just put my 2 weeks notice in. I've been a Ford transmission tech for 12 years now. I've been a senior master tech since 2018. This industry has changed a lot in the last 10 years.
I quit my job on Thursday after being a mechanic for 15 years, and I was master certified through the ASE and through Nissan as well. Had hybrid, EV, GTR specialist, lots of extra stuff as well. And I was also a shop foreman for 6 years. I just got tired of the problems and the stress.
Will I ever be in the automotive industry ever again? No, absolutely not.
There is a shortage of mechanics and auto technicians in America, and we are going to see why that is. It's actually a few different reasons, but they all tie into each other. And of course, it's all about money. First, right off the bat, in order to get into the industry, you have to pay for trade school, and auto technicians also have to pay for all their tools, even the ones that work at dealerships. So we're talking about asking a young guy to go tens of thousands of dollars in debt just to get started in the industry.
This video is wonderful. It really does explain why why there's a shortage of them. Who wants to get into an industry where you have to buy tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of tools? As an employee, you're not a business owner, you're an employee. So you don't get the same tax breaks as a business owner, but then you're expected to basically work for free half the time. And then to make up the hours, you basically have to scam the customer, cut corners, do whatever you can to beat the time on the clock. And it doesn't matter how long you've been in the business, you have to keep doing that until the day you retire or quit. That's why this industry is so broken. Why is it such a skilled job not paid a salary or hourly, but instead a flat rate, which is commission? We're not car salesmen. We're not service advisors. You're actually doing real work, and you deserve real pay.
To become a mechanic, you got to take up trade school. To take up trade school, you got to go full-time. Even part-time is damn near full-time, but you got to go full-time. You got to take out debt to pay for the trade school. Then you have to have experience, because most places don't want to hire anybody with experience coming fresh out of anything. Nobody wants to do these things. Well, excuse me. People want to do these things. They just financially can't.
Technician shortage, huh? Wonder why. Can't get new techs. Can't retain techs. Dealerships, a few dealerships, because that's all I know, are working and building internally on technician structures that actually support and develop techs. Now, it's not a perfect system. It doesn't work perfect every time, but what it does is it creates a support structure. It teaches technicians how to succeed, and then it works with them on the pay structure or labor rate or however they're getting paid, so that they don't just drop off a cliff and in 2 years they're $10,000 in tool debt and they're leaving the industry because there's 3 cars to work on a day. I think it's really time that we work together as an industry and start fixing these things. Stop talking about it. Stop just talking about it, and let's do something. And dealership groups, owner groups, managers, sure, I mean, the ball's in your court. Let's work together.
The other thing is that these cars get more and more complicated each and every year. Working on a car today is not the same thing as working on a car from 20, 30 years ago. These days, a lot of times, just to do something super basic requires a ton of work, because you have to move stuff out of the way that has nothing to do with what you're fixing. And to be honest, these car manufacturers, they want it that way. They don't want people working on their own cars.
This is why people don't want to be technicians anymore, and they're tired of this bullshit. You gotta do all this. You gotta take all this shit out. You gotta take all that shit out, just so you can change the one little bolt right there on the bottom. You gotta do all that just so you can change one bolt right there. This thing. That car.
But I am kind of curious, like, when did the labor costs on fixing cars go through the roof?
Well, hey there, local mechanic here, and I'm actually owner-operator, and I'll tell you exactly why and when mechanic repairs became so expensive and why labor rates are so expensive and why they charge you to look at your car. For one, cars are extremely more complicated than they were 30, 20 years ago, 10 years ago. They get more complicated every freaking year. Think about all the lane adaptive assist controls, all the electronics that they put them in them. They're using CAN bus systems, which are run off Ethernet now. You got to stay educated, more than a doctor almost, to fix these cars. Not only that, let me show you why the labor costs are so expensive on a particular Jeep I'm working on. Let me show you. So this one had a radiator bad. However, the book gives 3 hours for it. I'm like 2 hours into it, and the way that the manufacturer designed the AC line, if you can see here, they put a groove this way and this way. So the only way that radiator's coming out is if I have to pull the refrigerant. Now the refrigerant on this vehicle is the new 1234YF, which means it's buku expensive. It's going to fail. Your newer vehicles are going to fail. It's cheaper to labor-wise fix older vehicles which are much better designed, because these newer vehicles are designed in a manner to where they want you to spend as much money as possible regardless of the situation. So this is not gonna, get any better unless we do something about it.
New vehicles suck, and there's no ad go buy one. It's to the point where used Tacomas are selling for more than brand new ones. That's how bad it's gotten. And I have an insider's perspective because I'm a mechanical engineer who has just worked in the automotive industry, and I've seen it just go downhill. Most of it has to do with the lack of practical engineering and now a huge focus on analytical as well as software, just ruining everything. So one software company controls basically everything. It's really expensive to get a seat to design things, and their software sucks. Simulation is pretty horrible, and that's how everything's designed. We don't test vehicles as long as we used to in the real world. That's now the customer's job. A lot of principles backed by analytics like thermal press fits make their way into real world designs like timing gears being pressed onto crankshafts. It's crazy. New engines starting to knock after a few thousand miles. Multi-speed transmissions failing rather quickly. There's like no practical knowledge left anymore. Electrically, modern cars are scary. There's a computer for everything, like your power seats. There's dozens and dozens of them in a vehicle. They're all connected via CAN bus, which is super touchy to physical damage, noise, external interference. I think in terms of durability, vehicles peaked in the late 90s.
This is the biggest issue, and this ties in everything, right? So these complicated cars, harder to work on. That means it takes more time to work on them. But what's happening is the manufacturers, when cars have to be repaired under warranty, are not giving ample time to the service technician in order for them to fix it. They want them to do these jobs in a certain amount of time, and it's just not realistic. Not with the way these cars are engineered.
All right, so there's a nationwide shortage of technicians, automotive technicians, no matter what brand it is. People just don't want to do this anymore. And I'm going to show you right now why there's a nationwide shortage of automotive technicians, especially at the dealership level. Let me show you exactly why. So this right here is the labor time for removing an HVAC assembly, the heater box inside the vehicle. We have an evaporator leak and the AC doesn't work. And this is the labor time from, I believe, ALLDATA. And then this is the warranty labor time from Nissan, 4.8. They want me to do that HVAC assembly for 4.8 hours when ALLDATA is saying that it takes like 3 times as much as the warranty time, 13.5. So many of you may not know how technicians get paid. We get paid by the job. If a job pays 2 hours, then we'll get 2 hours no matter how long it takes us to complete that job. Our hourly rate may be $40 an hour. We may get paid $40 an hour, $50 an hour, and we'll only get 2 hours worth of that time to do that job. If it takes us 3 hours, then we'll still get 2 hours for that. So this is exactly the reason why nobody wants to do this anymore.
The Ford CEO is talking about the backlog, average 2-week backlog across the country.
This morning when I woke up, there were 6,000 bays in our dealerships with no technician. So can't get my car fixed. Nope, 2 weeks. Average wait is 2 weeks. Not because we don't have the parts, we don't have the mechanics.
This is why Ford can't get anybody to work on their cars. Now your Ford vehicles used to be really nice, reliable vehicles that were simple to fix, but now they're all junk, made with Chinese parts, Chinese computers, and stuff that's not even reliable enough to make it over 100,000 miles. Let's face it, Jim, your vehicles are crap. And instead of designing them properly, you just put all the fixes on the back of your mechanics who you don't pay enough. Not only are the vehicles crap, but you gotta buy fancy scanners, special sockets, and special kits that are expensive just to be able to work on them. Now these are the reasons the mechanic shortage is pretty much everywhere in all dealerships, but Ford is one of the worst about gouging their customers and not paying their techs enough. Now this is a big problem for Ford because Ford doesn't make much money on just selling their cars. They make most of their money on servicing the fleet of their cars that they sell. And without mechanics to service that fleet, they could just go belly up. Now I see this ending one of three ways. Either Ford will take their cars and start making them better, more reliable, and easier to fix. We know that's probably not gonna happen, so their second option is they could pay the mechanics what they truly deserve, a nice fair wage to fix their junk cars.
So we saw a video of the Ford CEO saying that there's a shortage of technicians, that they have 6,000 empty bays, and he understands why now. So here's your answer, dude. This is why.
This is why. Your answer is because you charge an insane door rate. Technicians don't take home even a third of that usually. You make junk vehicles. And your labor times suck. They're usually less than half of what it takes to do your job.
Yeah. So take into consideration that we have to buy our own freaking tools. That's one. Two, your warranty times, right? If an engine replacement pays 25 hours under customer paid, and then we go do it under warranty, it's freaking 10 hours. So you're screwing us up.
Like I said, these cars are very complicated to work on, and that is another part of the reason why it's so expensive to buy the tools in order to get into this business in the first place. So there's just a vicious circle in the industry, and mechanics are fed up. The other thing too, a lot of people don't take care of their cars, but even the ones that do, it doesn't really matter because these manufacturers are using cheap parts that are designed to fail. It's called planned obsolescence. Basically, no matter what you do, at a certain point, these cars are going to fail you. And when they do, you have to take it in to a mechanic. The problem is, right now in America, there's a shortage of them. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.